Hello, I hope I can have your full attention for the next few minutes as I explain this benefit that everyone watching this presentation is eligible for. My name is David McCrae, and I'm here to discuss the county's deferred compensation plan administered by Empower Retirement. Congratulations on your new role. And while you're just getting started with your career here, it is also good to be thinking about your last day of work. The deferred compensation plan is a helpful way for you to be preparing for your retirement. Prior to this presentation, you learned that some of you are participating in the pension. What we are discussing here, the deferred compensation plan, this is available to all employees. And if you are interested in retiring one day, this benefit will likely help you achieve that goal. Eventually, you are going to exit the workforce and retire. When that day occurs, you will still be spending money. You will have many years of living expenses for housing, food, healthcare, and of course, all the other fun activities that you're going to be doing in retirement. 20 years ago, very few people anticipated having to pay for high-speed internet, cell phones, or other extravagances. But now these are almost required for all of us. By the time you and I retire, there will be new expenses that we are not prepared for. And we want to ensure that we can afford to use those activities in retirement as well. For many of us, we are going to be receiving Social Security and/or a pension to help pay for those things in retirement. However, oftentimes those sources are not enough for a retiree. For those of you that are eligible for the pension, you saw how to get an estimate of what that benefit is going to be. I encourage you to truly look into that to find out what your pension will be. I also encourage all of you to reach out to Social Security to get an estimate of that benefit. Social Security was only invented in 1933. The pension was only invented in 1937. Before that, no employee was receiving any kind of retirement benefits. Most people throughout history have had to save money if they want to retire. You and I, we are probably going to have to do so as well. And this is why the county offers deferred compensation, also called a 457B plan. This is an effective way to tell payroll to defer part of your paycheck and save it for retirement. Each pay period, you can have payroll deduct an amount of money from your paycheck. And each pay period, you can have this amount adjusted. Most of us are eventually going to have a goal of needing to save a specific amount of money for retirement. As you are just getting started here, you might want to start with a low amount, like $10 per check. And then as you get more familiar with what your retirement needs are going to be, you start working on a specific level of deferral. Many financial planners suggest ultimately trying to save between 5 and 20% of every paycheck for retirement as a budgeting goal. Included with your orientation packet is a one-page enrollment form. This has been emailed to you already, and it will also appear as a link in this presentation, but it's already been provided to you in PDF form. I encourage you to print out this form at the end of today and fill it out if you can. And I'm going to refer to the form a few more times throughout the presentation. But all you need to do if you want to be saving for retirement is you put your info on it, you pick a small amount to save, you put a beneficiary on there, and you sign the bottom. And then you turn in the form. Again, that's already been emailed to you, and it's also going to appear as a link in this presentation later. So I encourage you to print it if you're thinking of saving for retirement. Deferred comp ultimately is a way to save money for retirement. You might ask yourself, why would I save through payroll? I was going to put $10 in my piggy bank each pay period anyways. Well, by deferring through payroll, you get tax benefits. Most employees are saving on a pre-tax basis. And this means the money they save, they avoid income tax on it until they choose to withdraw it. There's also a Roth contribution option, and this allows you to pay income tax on this money today and allows tax-free withdrawals if certain criteria is met later. No matter which option you choose, the bottom line is that you're saving money for your retirement. At this employer, 97% of employees start with pre-tax contributions and they change it later. And of course, you can do both. Every pay period, you can adjust the amount you're saving or stop saving. Also, single employees with an adjusted gross income under $34,000 and married couples with an adjusted gross income under $68,000 also get a tax credit just by saving in an employer retirement plan. For more details on the income ranges of this and eligibility, you might want to speak with your tax advisor. While there are plenty of tax benefits for saving for retirement, the most important reason to use deferred comp is that most people need to save money. And having this deducted from payroll is an efficient way to do this. This money is earmarked for your retirement, and you're not going to be tempted to spend this on snacks or shopping, as it's been deferred before it even reaches your bank account. When you defer this money, generally you have access to these funds when you separate. Any amount you defer, it is for your retirement. So please start with a small amount and make changes over time. You can change the amount every pay period. There is no need to put the maximum amount possible your very first paycheck. As you're just getting started here, we don't know when you want to retire. We're not sure how much you're going to need in retirement or what an appropriate savings goal is. But eventually, over your time here, you will learn what an appropriate savings goal is. And often employees meet every year or two with someone like myself to make sure that they are still on track for their goals. Again, if you're ready to save, it's as simple as completing the form that was included in your orientation packet that's already been emailed to you. All you need to do is put your info on it, an amount to save, a beneficiary, and sign the bottom. And again, all employees are eligible for this. If you're watching this presentation, if you're getting a paycheck, you're eligible to defer part of that and save it for your retirement. Remember also, in the state of California, your spouse must be the sole beneficiary of this account unless you and your spouse both sign additional paperwork. I can provide that to you if needed, but please only put your spouse, if you happen to be married, as your primary beneficiary. An important thing to note with the 457B plan is that by enrolling with that included form, any amount you save will be placed into something called a target date fund. The fund is designed to assume that any money placed into it will be invested with the assumption that you're going to exit the workforce around age 65. We know that historically, the prices of goods and services increase over time. And a goal for retirement accounts is that the money you save today still has that same purchasing power as whenever you're going to be a retiree. Target date funds are professionally managed long-term investments designed for employees retiring within a specific year. Each target date fund is diversified with a mix of investment categories, such as stocks and bonds. The underlying assets in the target fund automatically adjust in diversification to more conservative assets as the date in the fund gets closer to the target retirement date. Just because you are placed in a target fund with a specific year, it does not mean you have to retire in that year or that you're financially able to retire then. The default is just a reasonable estimate of when someone typically retires and leaves the workforce. It is important to note that the principal value of the fund is never guaranteed, even at the target date, and that this built-in investment diversification will potentially allow for assets to grow over time and aims to preserve saving and any investment earnings as retirement nears. And of course, diversification does not ensure a profit or protect against loss. While you're placed into that target fund when you enroll, there are many other investment choices available for you to choose from. You are free to research any of the county's investment options and move between them as you see fit by visiting the website or calling the 800 service after your enrollment has been processed. Please contact me if you have any questions regarding this. Many of you watching this presentation are part-time and hope to become eligible for the pension in the future. If you start saving in deferred comp today, as a part-time employee, you can use this account to buy back pension time tax-free. This was also explained in the prior presentation. Any other avenue of pension buyback is usually done on an after-tax basis. So by using any deferred comp monies that you saved, this is a very fast way of giving yourself the necessary service credit you need for a comfortable retirement. And of course, some of you have retirement plans from prior employers. You can simplify your financial picture by combining all of these accounts over at San Joaquin County. Moving savings and other plans over to your account here means you no longer have multiple accounts to deal with. And oftentimes employees are asking, how do I do so? Well, just send me a message and I'm happy to assist you with that. But you can't roll over funds until you enroll in the 457. So please make sure you get started on turning in that paperwork. Please be aware, now this slide here, this is only relevant to physicians. Please be aware, if you are a full-time physician, you are also going to be participating in a similar program called a 401A. This is not optional. And this, again, only applies to physicians. This may have been explained to you when you were hired. According to the terms of your MOU, effective your first paycheck, 10% of every paycheck is placed in the 401 until your annual compensation exceeds $315,000. Then contributions will resume again in the next calendar year. This limit may increase in future years. Your contribution is also placed into a target date fund, which is invested with the assumption that you will be exiting the workforce around age 65. This PowerPoint page here only applies to physicians. Everyone has access to the 457. Only physicians have access to the 401. So any physicians watching, you can do the 401, which is mandatory, and you can also save in the 457 if you would like. If you are not a physician, you still have access to the 457. Saving for retirement is a very important part of being able to retire. Anecdotally, I have never heard a retiree regret saving money or receiving tax benefits. But every week I meet with employees who are close to retirement, and I meet with retirees, and they lament about not having saved more for their retirement. I encourage you to enroll today if you are able, or schedule a meeting with me if you have any additional questions. Don't forget to please invite me to your retirement party. It is going to be here before you know it. As we prepare to transition to questions or the next presentation, please review this disclosure slide and this one as well. So thank you everyone for your time.